Everyone, Steve here again from Business Insider. Got a bunch of tech headlines for you that broke over the weekend and this morning. First thing is Apple announced today that they are joining the Wireless Power Consortium. That sounds really geeky and weird. Basically, it's a group of tech companies that are working on standardizing wireless charging. So when you put your device on a special kind of pad, it uses a special magnetic technology that can boost or put power onto it, very similar to what you see in the Apple Watch, what we've seen in Samsung phones, and a bunch of other phones. But it's really significant that Apple is joining this consortium because there's been increasing speculation that the next iPhone will finally include wireless charging. And it's also very important that Apple play nice with other leaders in the tech industry, because if wireless charging does become standard across the industry, across all devices, they all have to be able to work with the same kind of accessories and outlets and things like that. For example, Starbucks in some stores is already experimenting with wireless charging. They have coffee bars with these special little pads. You can plop your phone down no matter what the manufacturer is, as long as it has one of these standards, and you can charge it up. IKEA is even building some of these capabilities into their furniture, like side tables and night tables. You plop your phone down, charges overnight while it's on your nightstand, and things of that nature. So it's really important that all these tech companies do work together to make sure the standard is uniform across all devices and across the industry. And they're working with this one standard in particular called Qi, which is QI. And that is probably the most popular standard for wireless charging right now, and it seems to be the winner and the one going forward. So it is a very big deal, especially as Apple considers putting wireless charging in the next iPhone. But pretty much every report and rumor we've heard about the iPhone that's coming out this fall includes wireless charging capability. People have been asking for this for years. Samsung has had it for at least the last two flagship models, I think, maybe the last 3 years. So this is a little bit of a catch-up. Apple has said it doesn't want to put wireless charging into its phones until it can be faster. One of the problems with wireless charging is it's a lot slower than physically plugging your phone into a power with a power cord. But over the last couple of years, it has sped up. For example, the latest Samsung phones have quick charging via wireless charging, so it's becoming less of an issue. So it makes sense now that Apple is considering it. My colleague Kif Leswing, who primarily reports in Apple, got a statement from Apple that I'll just read to you real quick about why they're doing this. Of course, they're not commenting on future products, duh. But here's what Apple told us about them joining this consortium. Quote, Apple is an active member of many standards development organizations as both a leader and contributor. Apple is joining the Wireless Power Consortium to be able to participate and contribute ideas to open, collaborative development of future wireless charging standards. We look forward to working together with the WPC and its members. Pretty standard, pretty self-explanatory, and you can definitely take that as a sign that in addition to the Apple Watch and in addition to those AirPods, you're going to see a lot more Apple products in the future, starting with the iPhone, that do have this wireless charging capability. And once Apple does it, I can guarantee you that kickstarts the same kind of features becoming more standard in a lot of other devices. And then you can start seeing that trickle down just throughout the world. It won't be uncommon not too long from now, especially as more and more people with iPhones get this capability. You'll start to see these wireless charging pads just everywhere you go. Like I said, Starbucks was very ahead of the time and started adding that to some stores. The IKEA furniture is starting to add it, and I guarantee you'll start seeing it in hotels and airports and public places like that. So this is just the beginning of wireless charging. I think it's great. On Samsung phones I've tested that have it, it's really nice to have kind of this charging pad that you can plop your phone down and top up some more power whenever you need it. And it's especially great for overnight. You don't have to fiddle with the cord, plop it down, let it charge overnight. It's really great. So That's going to be a really great thing, and it's nice to see Apple taking that seriously. Next up, Verizon. Yesterday, they had a surprise announcement. They are bringing back their unlimited data plan. It's $80 a month for unlimited data, but there are, as I always say, there are tons of caveats. They do say that if you go over a 22 gigabyte per billing period limit, they might slow down your connection. This is a common practice that is referred to as throttling. They say they might do this if you go over that 22 gigabyte limit and traffic on the network is pretty high. They say they have the right to slow you down. I have a big problem with this. I have a big problem with all these carriers marketing these unlimited plans when they're not truly unlimited. If you've ever been throttled like I have, it basically slows your connection down to the point where it's useless. So while it's technically true that it's unlimited in the sense that they won't charge you more for going over a certain limit and you can use all the data you want without being charged extra, it doesn't really matter, because if you do get throttled, your phone is basically bricked until you can get on a Wi-Fi connection and until the next billing cycle starts. So I have a big problem with them calling it unlimited. It's really nice. Yes, it's true. Most people won't use those 22 gigabytes in a month. But again, I feel like on the marketing side, it's a little disingenuous to call these plans unlimited when they're not truly unlimited data. So always keep that in mind. There's no such thing as an unlimited data plan, despite what the carrier tells you. There's always caveats. If you want unlimited high-speed data, you're going to have to pay for it if you go over a certain cap. Another caveat is it limits you to 10 gigabytes of hotspot usage on your phone, and after you go over that, you have to you're stuck on a 3G connection. That they're very clear about. 10 gigabytes to the 3G connection over hotspot. It's a little bit more fuzzy when you get into just the phone usage. They say it's approximately 22 gigabytes, and they then reserve the right, if network traffic is high, they say they reserve the right to slow you down quite a bit, and it's really annoying. If you've ever had it happen, you know what I'm talking about. Another cool thing that broke since I last talked to you, Friday night, my colleague Kef posted a photo of Magic Leap's, one of their prototypes, one of their augmented reality headset prototypes. Magic Leap, you might remember, is the really buzzy startup that's working on augmented reality glasses. They've gotten over $1 billion investment from pretty much any big funder you can think of, including Google. Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai, sits on their board, so there's a lot of anticipation around this product. But it was a little disappointing to some when they saw that as of, a month ago, they were still using a device that was powered by like a backpack computer and a big chunky battery on the side. To be fair, it is a prototype, and a lot of major products do look very wonky before they kind of cram it into a consumer-friendly version. But at the same time, Magic Leap has done a really weird job of pitching itself as the future and generating a lot of hype for something that does not exist yet. So there is a lot of reason to remain skeptical of what they're doing and the way they promote themselves. Two more Apple headlines for you. Last Friday afternoon, Tim Cook was in Europe, and he made some comments to The Independent about augmented reality. Speaking of augmented reality, and he called it just as significant as the iPhone. Now, Tim Cook has been talking about augmented reality a lot when he's asked about future technologies, but this is the first time he's really come out and said, like, this could be as game-changing as the iPhone. So that is very significant coming from him, and it's also just yet another sign that Apple is exploring augmented reality and really working on bringing that kind of product to market. And the final thing I want to talk about is a little scoop I got this morning. Apple has stopped selling the LG Ultrafine 5K monitor. This was a monitor they built in collaboration with LG to launch with that new MacBook Pro that came out in October. Since then, there have been a lot of people who have been having problems with the LG monitor. There's reports of screen flickering. When it's near a router or some other radio waves, it glitches out a little bit. So Apple Store employees have been told not to sell the product anymore, even if they have it in stock. They're still told they can show it on the show floor, but if someone wants to buy it, they're told that to tell the customers that the sales have been suspended, and they're going to have to wait until LG and Apple figure out what's going on with these products in order to start selling it again. And this is a big stumble for Apple because they stopped making their own displays. They had what was called the Cinema Display, which hasn't been updated in a few years, and a lot of people were expecting Apple, along with the MacBook Pro, to come out with a nice 4K monitor or 5K monitor that can work with the MacBook Pro. Instead, it turns out they partnered with LG to create this ultra fine display, which is great. LG is awesome at making displays. They're awesome at making screens, except this time. So it's a little embarrassing for Apple to bring in this third party, develop this new display, and then it turns out it's glitchy and they have to suspend sales for it. That's all I got for you today. I will be back tomorrow at the same time with more headlines for you. Thanks.